facing the wing, this would be a reverse.
Correct.
Correct?
Correct.
So what are we going to do first to make sure that we're going to clip in correctly for a reverse inflation?
We need to...
What's the first thing we grab when we grab onto the risers?
Control, or
The
connection points.
Alright, so we're grabbing onto connection points. For those of you that are watching this video, this right here is a connection point. This is what actually will connect to your carabiner here. So we want to make sure that we have these in our hand at all times, because we want to make sure that we have control over our wing. If we're outside and right now it's really super windy out there, we want to make sure that we're in control of our wing. So we're going to do a reverse, right? And we are going to turn to the left. After we get up in the air, we're going to turn to the left to go straight, right? Then after we're straight and we want to turn back around to kite the wing down, we turn to the right. So since we're going to be turning to the left, we're going to put the risers in our right hand like this, right? We want to make sure that they're like this. Then with our palm down, we're going to grab the connection points. Notice how she grabbed the connection points like this. She's going to let go of the risers. Now there's only one way her wrist can flip. So we're going to flip it. Notice how she just did a nice little flip. She didn't go, whoo, and knock the brakes off the magnet and stuff like that. It's just a little flip. Now she's going to clip into her carabiner. So those you pull out and turn and connect. All right, now she's going to do the same thing with the other side. On these particular ones, that will pull out and twist. They're auto-locking carabiners. All right, so these are inboard, so we're always going to make sure that they open up towards the center, because when we look down, sometimes these will flip around like this, and we want to make sure that they clip in correctly. So we always double check to make sure that the carabiners are inboard. So we're going to go ahead and do a check. We're going to pretend that we haven't done the whole check as far as your kiting harness. So let's go ahead and do a kiting harness check real quick.
Okay.
So start with your leg.
We're making sure that nothing is bunched up or pinched. No fabric. So leg, chest, making sure nothing is caught in the bindings, and sometimes on harnesses you'll have another chest. Make sure that's clipped and nothing's caught. And then when you have your helmet on, chin.
Exactly, very good. So that's how we're going to buckle in and check every single time that we're on a motor itself, or if we're going to pretend that we are buckled into a motor when we have a kiting harness. We're always going to pretend that this is a flight, so we always make sure that we are as safe as possible. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to make sure that our doors are shut and locked. So what she's going to be doing is making sure that the doors are shut and locked. So what are the things that we got to look out for, right? So this is pulled out like this.
Yeah.
What happens if, go ahead and put that where it's happening, right? What happens if she clips it like this and doesn't even think about it? She just clips in, I want to go fly, look at this right here. How many videos have you seen people going, oh, look at this, I clipped in wrong? This is how we can keep that from happening. We're making sure that the doors are shut and locked. We're also making sure too that all of our webbing is good, there's no frays. We're going to quickly take a look to make sure that there's nothing wrong with the carabiner, make sure there's no cracks or any chips. So that's what we're going to do when we check for the doors are shut and locked. What's the next thing that we see when we go down the trims, or go down the risers? I'm sorry, I just said it. It's the trims, right. So we always want to make sure that the trims are set and even to whatever you're going to do. Make sure you look at the manufacturer of the wing and see what they suggest on different places. So we trims and make sure that they're even. Excellent. What's the next thing that we do when we go down the trim or go down the risers?
Go down the risers.
We see the brakes, right?
We
So
see
we're
the
going to
brakes.
pull onto the brakes here, and we're looking to make sure our streets are straight. And we're also making sure that there's no nicks or cuts or anything on all of these. We're just double checking everything because this is what is holding us safely up in the air. Next thing we want to do is grab the brakes and pull them off the magnets. Now once they're off the magnets, as a brand new student, we don't want to let go of the brakes. Hold on to the brakes, and we're not going to take this brake and put it over there and scratch our nose. You can lift your hand up and scratch your nose if you want to. Don't let go of the brakes as a new student. Later on in the classes, we're going to kite this wing without brakes in your hands, but I need to make sure that you guys know how to handle this wing in different circumstances without the brakes, or with the brakes. Okay, so now we're physically looking down to make sure that this is free and clear to the pulley all the way down. We don't want this twisted, we don't want this wrapped around, and we're also double checking to make sure that our knots look good on both sides too, because we want to be safe.
Free and clear to pulley.
Free and clear to pulley. So that's how we double check. Now if we're going to be doing a reverse, she's going to keep those in her hand. So if we're going to be doing a reverse, we're going to step in reverse, right?
Right.
So when we step in reverse, these lines right here, because we're inside, they're not going to be tensioning. I'm going to hold them right here for you if you're technically tensioning, right? Don't pull me.
Oh, alright.
Alright. So when we are in this reverse configuration, we want to make sure that we can pull the wing up. So the way to do that is we're going to reach over with our right hand, so we call it right over. And it's over, not under. So you're going underneath the brake line. Right over. There you go.
Over.
We grab the A's.
Yep.
And left under. We're going to grab the A's. Okay. And now when she brings it up here, you notice that the A's, right, are on top. You want to put your hands together, right? So the A's are on top, all the way from here, all the way to the leading edge. That way she knows that when she pulls backwards, she's pulling on the leading edge, the wing's going to come up, and she's going to be enjoying a reverse inflation.
Yay!
Very good.
Woo-hoo.
Ready to do a forward inflation or a
Sure.
forward clip in?
Yeah.
Alright, so keep your hands on the brakes and put everything down. Just let everything drape. There you go. So, let's put the brake back on the magnet. Make sure they're on the same one. So remember, look at your carabiners, make sure they're inboard. See how that's not inboard?
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to flip that one, and then everything draped down, make sure that's on inboard also. And that way, when we're putting this on, we're still going to make sure that our brakes are free and clear. The pulley all the way to us putting that back on the magnet. Great job. Now, when the wing is above your head, which way do you turn to go forward from a reverse configuration?
Left.
Okay, so if I hold this up here like this, you're going to turn left. Go ahead and turn left underneath of it. Pull that around. There we go. Alright, so this should be the way you would normally clip in for a forward inflation. So it'd be like that. But for the people that are watching this, we're going to unclip and we're going to show you how to get into this configuration here. So we're going to unclip from the carabiners. Okay. So how do we get in that particular configuration, right? I mean, I know that if you're in reverse, you turn around and you are in a forward configuration, but how do you get to that from this way, right? So we lay out the wing, everything's laid out. So now we're going to make sure the A's are on top. So how do you make sure the A's are on top?
Put the connection points together, and the A's are on top.
We're going to hold on to the connection points with two different hands. We're going to open up our arms.
Oh, that's right.
Right? And we're going to walk backwards, and we're just going to tighten up these, because look at that. It looked like the A's were on top,
Right.
but they were not on top. If she just decided that, go ahead and walk forward, that this was correct, and she clips in, guess what?
I have line twist.
You are in a whirl of what
Hurt.
the hell just happened? So always walk backwards and tighten up the lines, and make sure the A's are on top. So go ahead and flip them correctly for me. That's one of the things that a lot of students don't do. They do not take that step back to make sure that the lines are on top. They're right here and like, oh yeah, the A's are on top. But like you said, you thought that the A's were on top, but both of them were twisted the wrong way.
Correct.
All right, so always make sure you step back. Now we see that the A's are on top. Excellent. So remember how we placed them down on the ground.
Yeah.
Okay, so walk to the trailing edge. Swoosh it, walk backwards behind the swoosh, and now we're going to lay it down with the A's on the outside and the brakes on the inside. Alright, so we know that this is laid out correctly. Alright, so how would we clip in for a forward inflation? So you're going to turn around and face forward.
Oh, that's right.
Okay. And
then-
now we're gonna clip in. So the way that we can clip in, this is an easy way that I like to teach. However, there are many different ways, including picking up the risers, making sure the A's are on top, going over your shoulders, and clipping in. I think that the PPG Bible even shows you how to do that way, right? Is that the way you saw it originally?
Yeah.
Kind of hard to believe that they would do that, because if you got a motor on your back of the frame, how can you really put it over your shoulder? And if you do have that motor going, it's like, why would you want to do too much more adjusting and moving, right? So this is a way that we can do it to where we're out in the field, and when we kite or when we have a motor on our back, we're gonna do this way. So with our opposite hand, we're gonna put our palms out, we're gonna reach down, and we're gonna grab the connection point. Now she's standing up, but guess where that connection point is? It's directly in her palm. Which way can your arm turn? Can it turn this way? No, it can only turn one way, so she's gonna flip it. And look how the connection point is right there in her palm. She can come over here, and it's easy. She's in control of this, and she can easily connect the riser, or connection point, into the carabiner. She sees that the trim is up, so she's probably clipped in correctly. So let's go ahead and do the other side. So with the opposite hand, she's reaching down, grabbing onto the connection point, standing up, twisting her arm. She's not flipping it to where the magnet could pop off of the brake. And now it's connected. The trims are on top. The A's are to her knees. She probably clipped in correctly. Congratulations. Now we don't know if this is clipped in correctly until we do a quick check. So we can do this in about 9 seconds. However, because we are doing this as a class, we're going to go over it nice and slow so we can see exactly what we need to do and remember this. All right, what's the first thing that we do, just like we did with the reverse? We want to make sure the doors were shut and locked.
Doors are shut and locked.
What are we looking for? We're looking for the webbing to see if there's anything frayed, or if it's nicked or whatever. We look on here to make sure that the carabiner is good, that there isn't any crack or stress fracture or anything that we can see.
And they're inboard.
Right, we're making sure they're inboard and that they are shut and locked. Very good. What's the next thing that we do? We go down and we feel the trims, right? So we go down, there's the trims. And we want to make sure the trims are set and even. Right.
And no frays on the webbing. Go down to brakes. Pull them out. Streets are straight.
So what we want to do is we want to step back, because we want to make sure that these drape down. We want to make sure that we hold them out like this so we can see both sides, the front and the back. We're looking to see if there's any twists. And one of the things, if you let go of this real quick, normally don't do this. But let's just say that this was twisted like this, right? Maybe you didn't know that, put that in your hand. And when we're doing our check, we're going, okay, the streets are straight. Whoa, what is that? Right?
That's right.
Now we can fix this. So let's go ahead and fix that. So, very good. So everything looked good now, right? It's all straight on this side, and it's all straight on this side. If you have tip steering, how would you check the tip steering? Do you remember that, or did we not go over that with you?
Tip steering
is... Right, if you had tip steering, it'd be on the outside.
Yeah.
So here you would put them both in one hand, and now you'd physically check this hand and look at your tip steering to make sure it's on the magnet and free and clear to the pulley.
Correct.
You do the same thing to the other side. Make sure the tip steering's on and free and clear to the pulley.
Correct.
We don't have it on this one, but if you do, make sure that you don't forget this particular step. All right, what's the next thing we're going to do?
Brakes.
Right. Pop the brakes off.
Pop the brakes off.
So we don't need to shake it. You can just push it straight in front of you like this, and it'll pop off.
And then you're free and clear to pull.
So we're looking at this. What are we looking for? We're making sure that this is free and clear all the way to the pulley. What's something that we want to look for? If you let go of this, I'm going to show you that it's possible that you put this on wrong. You didn't know that you put it on wrong. So you had it up here. The streets are straight. If you don't take the second step of looking down to see if it's free and clear to pulley, you can take off like this. Now it's above your head. This brake is going to pull the brake. The brake is wrapped around here and knotted. You know, so now you're in a freaking left-hand turn and you can't undo it. And now you're trying to fix it up in the air. Let's not fix it up in the air. Let's fix it here. Is that free and clear to pulley?
No, it's not.
No, it's not. So let's go ahead and fix that. This step right here will save your mind. That free and clear to pulley?
Free and clear to pulley.
Excellent, excellent, congratulations. Alright, so maybe people at this particular step that are watching this don't even know how to do a forward deflation, so how do we grab our A's to go forward?
So, Fonzie, out, bring it down forward, swoop behind the risers, grab your A's, and your thumb and your forefinger, make sure the malleons are even,
Like that.
and then crack your thumb.
Alright, good. Thumb butt crack. Or
Thumb
whatever.
butt crack.
I don't know what that's called, but whatever this crease is. What is this crease right here between your thumb and your finger? Let me know how it's going to go. Alright, and that's how you do it for inflation. You made sure that everything was checked. So you probably are going to have a great inflation and no riser twist, no crazy brake twist or anything like that, and your flight will be amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Bonnie, and thank you for choosing Fairmont, Arkansas.